Welcome back. Round number 2 with Living Battle of Wits. I think the deck underperformed. I think we got unlucky in the last league. So I'm going to go after one more. I just got some more play points with a trophy with blue-black Oculus. So I've got some play points to burn. Let's get into the games. Round 1 with Living Battle of Wits here. Looking to avenge our previous league. I'm going to keep this hand. One thing about this deck is I just have to play fast because if I ever search my library for more than one card, Magic Online takes absolutely forever. And it seems to just go slower in general with this deck. So this is looking like Belcher. Never mind, it's not Belcher. I kind of like that he went Springs Preordained there. Perhaps Splinter Twin. Yeah, that's Sink into Stupor. We do have a Wish plan against Splitter Twin. However, what we don't have is really any way to stop it whatsoever. And I'm going to keep my life total high for the moment. I've added a stop on my end step. I lost a game in the last league I played because I didn't have a stop on my end step. I could have Hercled recalled a bunch of artifacts on my end step after he used that artifact from Doctor Who or Transformers or something. That it's like a sneak and show. Let's go get... I'm going to get the Esper Triumph. I added the Esper Triumph to the deck. I didn't go over all the changes I made. I kind of rambled about them in the last video, and the odds that I see any specific card are kind of low. So I'm going to get Rafine Tower here. I'll clue him into what I'm doing. There's a Vantasaur. That's pretty good. Gives me something to do. Alright, he doesn't have red mana yet. I'm going to get my red mana in play. That's all 5 colors. So Scion of Draco wouldn't be a bad draw. I'm going to see if I want to Besage You anything, and then I'm going to double cycle at the end of his turn. I've noticed that, like, searching with the fetch land doesn't take very long. For whatever reason, it's getting multiple cards out of your library at the same time takes absolutely forever with this deck. I think I'd rather cycle the Curator. Alright, now whatever I play here is probably going to get countered. So what do I care about the least? I think I care about Champion of Wits the least. I expect Counterspell. Yep. As we expected, I don't have any really instant speed cards in my deck, or my hand, though, so there was no reason not to tap out. We don't get any benefit from having mana open on his turn. Opponent seems like they might be Murktide, and they're just missing black or red. Probably black. I think blue-black Oculus is the best deck in Modern. Alright, our opponent is mana screwed here. So the only thing that will stop me now is Force of Negation. I'm going to just run this Teferi out and see what happens. And that gives us counterspell protection from the rest of our deck, or for the rest of our cards. And I think I will pay the life to hold up Cycle Riverwinder. And then next turn, if I have nothing else to do, I can just hardcast Glorian. And now we're protected from a threat, too, because of Teferi. So opponent is in a hard way here. Now we just have to start leaning on them. Oh, I didn't even cycle. I just took 2 damage for no reason. There's Overlord. I don't have 2 black. Start by plussing. And I'm actually going to Fable because this puts something in play. So I make mistakes with this deck quite frequently because playing fast is very important. And then actually, I'll impend. He can't force a negation of this. He would have forced a negation to the Fable anyway. And now I can get a creature back. Curator, Champion, Street Wraith. I want to get back Champion of Wits. I think I can remove the stop on my end step. I don't think that's going to matter with this deck. Opponent is still digging. They're thinking the ice deck. Okay. My life total is fairly low if he's able to trigger that, but I can just bounce that with Teferi. That's what I think I'll do. I'm going to discard Land Riverwinder. To this Fable. Getting the extra treasure is helpful, but it doesn't actually increase our land count for Scape Shift. I think Riverwinder for sure. So Aven Windcaller only triggers when we cycle it, not just when we discard it. Our opponent's clock is ticking down. Yes, use the ability. Get rid of land and Riverwinder. Might have been a little loose, but I drew land. Play it. Put Grave into the graveyard. I'm going to bounce the thing in the ice, just so that it can't attack me next turn if he's able to flip it. Already played a land. Cast Champion of Wits. Yes. I will ditch Shatterstorm, Flooded Strand. Make the treasure. Still, I can't cast anything here. We're running out of cards above 200 for Battle of Wits. But honestly, that's like, I think, my third win condition. I think number 1 is just be a living end deck. Number 2 is Scape Shift. Then Battle of Wits is third. Or as we saw in the last video, sometimes it can just randomly win the game. And I'm not playing Panglacial Worm because I think even if I cast it, that card's terrible. Usually if I have enough lands in play, I'm going for like a Scape Shift. Okay, they get their Spire Bluff count out. Is their hand just a bunch of Splinter Twins? Manamorphose. I'm going to look for a Force Negation here. 4 out of 208 is not bad. Okay. I'm going to continue looking. Alright, so if they go for a creature here, I can Subtlety it. I can also Island Cycle, but I don't think that's necessary. Faithless Looting. Oh, they're an Archlight Phoenix deck. So they could end Teferi here if they're able to trigger the Archlight Phoenix. and they have an axe. So that's going to get 2 Archlight Phoenixes back and put me to 3. And I don't think Gust Shot really matters. But I'm going to Lord and Revealed now. Thing in the Ice would have flipped too. There's Demi-Lich. Oh, I should have countered Demi-Lich. Oopsie daisies. I'm gonna Island Cycle. And I'm going to get the Sewer. If I draw a Cycler, Sewer can let me set up the top of my deck. Alright, so our opponent shouldn't have this Demi-Lich in play. I have a lot of cards that probably win the game here, including any of our Cascade spells, Bring to Light, Wish for Escape Shift. They attack to Fairy. Alright, that gains me some life. So actually what I can do... I can just do both of these. I will start with the Sewer. So now I know if I need to cycle the Samurai or not. If I get a Cascader on top, I don't think I will. I've been interested in Sunblade Samurai ever since they printed this card. It's a 2-mana cycler that plane cycles, only for basic planes, but you gain life, and it's also an enchantment. So, Force of Negation is too late for you. Okay, so now I don't care about that. Now I don't care what's on top of my deck, I mean. I'll go ahead and cycle the Sunblade. On his turn, Overlord comes down. I don't think that card's going to matter. I have a blocker for Demi-Lich. He doesn't have... You may cast the copy. So he's got a removal spell in Lightning Axe for this Reflection of the Mirror Breaker. So that's probably what he'll do. But then I can gain 2 life, Flash, and Subtlety. And then I'm still alive next turn. To draw something. This is pretty bad when you take, your opponent gives you this much time and you still can't win. Let him attack. We'll see what he does. What does he want to target? He doesn't have a Lightning Bolt. He wants Manamorphose. He wants to find a Lightning Bolt. There's the copy of Manamorphose. Before he can do anything else, I'm going to Sunblade Samurai. Get my basic planes, which has a dragon on it. And then while he's tapped out, he curiously opted not to Lava or Lightning Axe our blocker. That would have been lethal. So I'm at 8. I could leave my Reflection of the Mirror Breaker alive, hoping to draw something. I'm still done to a Lightning Bolt. No, I'm not. I go to 2 if he has Lightning Bolt. He has another Morphos. He's going to lose this mana, so this is peculiar timing. If he's going to Lightning Bolt a blocker, I still have another one. Gut Shot me using a red mana. Okay. So I think that means I have to block. If I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I have to block. All right. So I need a good draw off the top. Opponent has 3 cards in hand and lethal attackers in play. We need a good draw here. That's not it. Let's look at what we almost drew. Waker might have done something. I'm going to concede. Let's keep drawing. Wouldn't have done anything. Okay. That extra card I didn't draw didn't end up hurting us, but it was still really bad play. All right. I don't really think I want to sideboard against him. Against him, I have Wish into Tormod's Crypt and Grafdigger's Cage. If he doesn't have any creatures in play, I could Crypt into, or I could Wish into Cage. And then besides that, I don't think there's much else I want to do here. I don't think Resurgent Belief is as reliable as I thought it would be, so I'm going to just bring that out and bring an Escape Shift. He seems like kind of a fast deck. I don't think Wish for Escape Shift is going to be reliable. Mountain Plain Swamp, that unfortunately does not suspend my search for Tom, so I'm going to mulligan. That is a great hand. And I'm going to bin Subtlety. So that can turn 3 Wish. And I'll start with the Sewers. And I'm happy I did. So next turn I can Generous Ent for a Forest. Suspend Search for tomorrow. And I'm well on my way. To somewhere. We're also doing okay on time, but that's misleading because in order to win, I usually have to search my library. Let's see what we draw. Drawing a forest naturally would be great. The opponent has a stop on our upkeep. I'm not sure what they're thinking about doing. Do they want to Giga Drowse my Sewer? The clock is one of our best assets with this deck, as long as we can get on the right side of it. Okay, that's not a terrible draw. However, I'm still going to do the force cycling thing. I'm going to go get Stomping Ground. We've taken over a minute off of our opponent's clock, just hanging out in my upkeep in my first main phase here. All right, Stomping Ground. There it is. I wish I didn't have to take the damage, but I do. Suspend. And I'm going to make use of the 6 key. Thing in the ice. Okay. A little bit unfortunate. We could wish this turn. If I wait one more turn, I can wish and get Grafdigger's Cage, which is a little bit stronger of a card. And now that I have the 4th land, I think that's what I'm going to do. Now I can ice plus cycle. So on their upkeep, I'm going to tap a land. And I still have a white mana left over to cycle Glass Dust Hulk. They can cast an instant here, obviously, but they don't have a draw step for it. And if they want to do something like Manamorphose, then they would lose the mana. Potentially. There's an argument I should have put a Cascade spell in my sideboard. That would leave me with 11 in the main deck. And in games like this where I might just need to wish for a Cascade spell, it would be helpful. And I draw an Oliphant. I think I'd still rather Glass Dust Hulk cycle than Oliphant cycle. Yeah, Thing in the Ice might be flipping here. All they need is one free instant, like a Gut Shot or a Noxious Revival. They bin Magus of the Moon. That would have been terrific against us. That probably just would have been a free win. And they don't have it. All right, we get another turn. Regular cycle. Flooded Strand, not the best. Here comes Search for Tomorrow. I think I'm going to go get... I have every color here. I've got blue, black, red, green, white. I guess I'll go get another blue. Cast. I'll go get an island. And then go to my draw step. Subtlety is not the best. In fact, that was kind of unusable. I think what I'll do is, before I make a decision on this wish, I will surveil. Get Hedge Maze. I guess that goes to top. And then what I can do now is hopefully get my opponent to burn a counterspell on this wish. All right, it just resolves. And let's get Grafdigger's Cage. Graph Digger. So that Wish resolved really fast. So I assumed that the Graph Digger's Cage would also resolve. Alright, opponent has 2 turns to get me, because I've got Battle of Wits on top. They got Lightning Bolt here. Yeah. It's a 7-8. So they need to flip that thing now. Battle of Wits might have been a bad card to leave on top. Any instant and sorcery and we're flipped. Yep. Okay. Does this flip my Graph Digger's Cage too? No, just non-horror creatures. Alright, so I'm going to stop on my upkeep because now Battle of Wits no longer does it. One thing I can do is shuffle my library with Oliphant on my upkeep, which is what I want to do now because I need to draw a Cascade spell or a Bring to Light. Not sure what that was. Don't go on battery. Sorry, my computer's being weird. They gut shot me down to 11. Then this lightning bolt puts me to, or this Awoken Horror puts me to 4. Demi-Lich doesn't have haste though. And there's another Demi-Lich. I don't agree with that. We've at least stopped the Archlight Phoenix. Arc. So I have a fresh draw step to try to get something that wins the game. A Bring to Light will do it. Well, Bring to Light will at least how many Archlight Phoenixes do they have? They only have 1. So Living End will get me Generous Ent, Glass Dust Hulk, Oliphant. And for them it will get Magus, Demi-Lich, Archlight Phoenix. I think that's a good board state for me. Alright. Better stop my upkeep. Mountain Cycle. And I'm just going to get a basic mountain here. There's the mountain. Go to my draw step. Gifts Ungiven, that's just a little too slow. Unfortunate. Oh well. Next round. Okay, round 2, we've mulliganed to 6. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put back a Beseiju. And we're done. I was just thinking that last round, another play I had was Wish into Pay for Life for Dismember from my sideboard. However, that doesn't stop Archlight Phoenixes from coming back, which he would have done. So then I'd have to Living End, bring it back, or bring the Thing in the Ice back anyway. And I think I had a better chance of just with the line I took. We unfortunately can't do anything about this. I'm going to start with Beseiju now that I've drawn Spike Feeder. And I will Swamp Cycle. I think I will Swamp Cycle and go get the Esper Triome. Faithless Looting. I guess I shouldn't have done this before Faithless Looting. I get so nervous that Magic Online is just going to skip my steps. I want to get a white one, so I'll get Rafine's Tower. I can get another green with the Scalding Tarn. Yeah, he flips Tameo. This game's going really bad. Or is it? It might be going just as I planned. Okay. Jolted Awake. Faithless Looting and Galvanic Discharge. This is like energy control with Faithless Looting. Which has been really kind of baffling to me that people are playing Faithless Looting in their control style decks. So when he eventually -7s that Tameo, he's going to have unlimited counter spells, basically. I'm just going to play the tap land and pass. The rest of our lands will enter untap for the rest of the game. And we can buy some time by using fire on the Tameo. Although it's not looking good for us. Opponent has a Planeswalker on turn 2. The good news is this creature is not more threatening. Like, what's he going to do? Flip it into another Tameo? It doesn't do damage to us. So we've at least got a little bit of time to set up for something. And UWR can return this Planeswalker. Oh my gosh, it goes up 2. Okay, that's bad. I didn't realize this thing had a +2. He's so close to ultimate already. Alright, I don't really need the rough. Don't have blue, or I don't have red, I mean, so I need to get red. I'm just going to get Stomping Ground. Pay 2, play Spike Feeder. I mean, I guess maybe we can get him to draw the bad half of his library with Tameo. This way he at least has to leave this back to block. He draws a card. Not gonna lie, I felt this league going better than it's gone so far. I just felt like I had it. You ever have that feeling? Like, put me in, coach. I've got it today. All right, well, is he going to draw? Is he going to flip his Tameo? How does that work? Yeah, he flips it. He's probably going to keep the one that's got more loyalty. And now he doesn't have a blocker. One of these has to go to the graveyard. Probably the small one. Yeah, there goes the small one. Now he doesn't have a blocker. So I could maybe buy some time here by attacking it. And then if he opts to cause this thing to leave play, I can at least fire it for a turn. I don't know, man, we're grasping at straws here. I don't see why people grasp at straws. If you're struggling, straws aren't going to help you. Not sure what the meaning of that expression is. Okay. There's an Oculus. If this was Boom Bust, we could, not Boom Bust. If this was Dead Gone, I could 2 damage it, this thing he's going to get, and then upkeep, or then I could tap this and attack Tamio to do 2 damage to it to prevent the ultimate for another turn. We might be able to win this. Well, I'm not going to win against Oculus on time. But, alright, search for tomorrow. Not exactly what I envisioned. So I think what I'll do is fire that. Suspend. And now we're cooking. Now we're actually in a position where if we can surveil into a Battle of Wits, we might have time. What colors do I need? I need white. So I need my Meticulous Archive, I believe, or my Lush Portico. I don't think I need Lush. I think I have enough green. I don't have anything good in my graveyard to rebuy. And if I can somehow get rid of this Oculus, he still has Flage, so I'm kind of boned. But sometimes these energy control players are really slow. Oh yes, I want Spike Feeder to end. I want that on my graveyard. Actually, no. Wrong ability. Just remove the counter. Remove the counter. Now I get that back if I live in end. So who's laughing now? Opponent's tapping a lot of mana for Flage, probably. Okay. So I need to Cascade right away. I need Meticulous Archive, which starts with an M. I probably don't need 4 of those. Probably could play some different lands. Solitude isn't quite good enough. And then he gets a creature. But he doesn't have a graveyard now. Architects of Will isn't technically my demise yet. I can cast... Okay, I need to cycle... Well, if I cycle like this, I need to leave open a white mana. Yeah, if I cycle like this, I'm fine. Champion of Wits doesn't do it. Can I live? So next turn he attacks, hits me for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I'm done. All right. If I were to bounce Flage there, he just replays it. And I think my list is pretty much perfect, so let's run it back. I'm also thinking of taking this Resurgent Belief out. I don't like that it's in there in these games I could potentially win, just threatening to make me lose instead. I don't think I have enough consistent discard to discard Battle of Wits. That's a great hand. I'm going to start with Undercity Sewers. I've got everything but a green card for Endurance. So I would like to Undercity Sewers for a green source. Maybe we can grind the game to a halt and then win with Battle of Wits. Green source would be nice. It's not a green source, so I'm going to get rid of it. I've got more lands. I've got another fetch land as well. Opponent takes 2, and I assume casts a Tameo. Yep, there she is. Also, Endurance, if he's not able to flip this early, Endurance might just be able to snipe a Tameo by blocking. Alright, there's half of a combo. Pay 2 life. Overlord of the Bellamerc. If I get back a green creature here, I can pitch. Yes, use the ability for champion. If I get back... Well, I don't have a green creature. I could have got back a green creature. And now that begs the question of what am I going to do next turn? I might just play Wooded Foothills and pass. Opponent is being fancy, playing their land second main. Well, they're going to they're going to flip their Tameo. So our dreams of getting it with Endurance have ended. If I were to draw a Kiki Jiki, would I discard Deceiver Exarch? I can't believe this has a +2. Like, that ultimate is so game-ending with all of the free pitch cards they've cast. I can't believe they made that +2. Waker's not a bad draw. However, I need better. Champion of Wits is better than Waker of Waves. What land do I need? I need red and green, so I'm gonna get the land that does that. It's called Stomping Ground. I could tap their land on upkeep. But I want to draw cards instead. I do have pitch cards in my deck. And seeing 2 more. There's an Ardent Plea. So I think I'm actually going to discard. I don't have any green. So goodbye Endurance. And goodbye Deceiver. Maybe I should have just put the fatties in my graveyard. Because my graveyard's not very impressive right now if I have to Ardent Plea next turn. And I think I actually definitely want to put a non-creature spell on the stack before I put Battle of Wits on the stack, because our opponent, they kept a land. They kept a 1-land hand, and then they drew a bunch of cards and still didn't play a land. They finally have played a land now, but I'm betting they have Force of Negation, if not more counter spells too. There's a Tarn. So I'm going to start by attacking Tameo. Hopefully this draws something out. Actually, if this draws something out, or just Tameo goes down, that's good too. Both of them are fine. All right, he discharges. And for the reason I already discussed, do I have white, blue? I have a white, blue, red, green. What do I need more of? Blue, blue, white, black, red, green. So I need more. I have both my blue, so I could get a commercial district, I think. I'll bin that. There we go. All right. That was so freaky. Did you see how the... I don't trust Magic Online. This program, I swear, I got trust issues. And then hopefully we can get a living end to resolve here. Hilariously enough, if we hit our Resurgent Belief, we would actually get a ley line of anticipation there. So we could flash step that. Let's untap that. Yes, use Champion of Wits ability. Discard on Burial Rites and Waker. And I get some Scries here as well. Bottom. I'm just looking for land number 5. Bottom. Untap. Cool, so now I've got Subtlety, Pitch, if anything bad happens that involves a creature. I already played a land. Trigger the Overlord. And then hopefully our opponent feels some pressure to take action here and we can just resolve the Battle of Wits. If he didn't Force of Negation the living end, I don't think he has Force of Negation. Just see if maybe I can force that or something. I think I will force tune the narrative if I draw one. That's not an untapped land. I want an untapped land. That's a ley line of the Guild Pact. That's not what I wanted. So at least I can go digging with Waker of Waves. And I also have a decent board presence. Alright, so Tamiyo triggers regardless of what I attack. So attacking with Deceiver XR is pointless. Attacking with everything else sounds good. He could play land here and then have Energy Wrath. But I don't think he has it. And he also doesn't have Counterspell up. He has to depend on Force of Will. Or, you know what I mean, Force of Negation. It's basically Force of Will. Alright, I'm going to sandbag that land, go to combat, and try to get him to spend mana. Attack Tamiyo, attack Tamiyo. So that's going to knock it to 6, 5, 4, 3, attack Tamiyo. And then attacking with Deceiver Exarch does nothing. Always yield. Yes. Whatever you say. Discharge. Play the forest, try to cast Battle of Wits. It resolves, so he has to bounce this or we win. And if he's going to use Odawara, he needs to draw a 4th land. And if he uses Odawara, I can replay it. I can't F6 here because I can't risk a creature somehow mattering and me not casting Subtlety. Tune the Narrative. That tapped one of his blue. So now he has to draw a blue land. Uses Tamiyo to tune the Narrative. But I don't think he can do it without blue mana. So there's all his blue. All right, Battle of Wits claims another victim. Round 3 with Battle of Wits, and unfortunately we can't keep this hand. Sorry, not round 3. Round 2, game 3. Mulligan. That's a great hand. I'm going to put back the Valakut. Done. I have a third land here because of Samurai. Overall, I don't really think Sunblade Samurai is that good of an option. I'd probably have a slightly higher win rate if I just played a different card. But I wanted to give it a chance. I've been interested in playing this card and Living End for a while. There's Battle of Wits. So one thing we don't need to get is basic planes. And because I only need 1 planes to play this game, I think I'm going to get a blue-red land. I could get a Triumph as well. Let's see what we cycle into. There's a Moonblessed Cleric. All right, now I just want to start filling up my graveyard. So I will get a blue-red. Actually, no, I need to get more colors. I don't need white. And I don't need green, so I can get Xander's Lounge. I can use Misty Rainforest. To get a Shockland that allows me to cycle or channel Sunblade Samurai for a plains. And I think I actually will Subtlety pitching Battle of Wits because I have another one in my hand. Moon-based Cleric. Very good card in this deck. It can also go get Ardent Play. So, I mean, this card, it can get like 2 of our 4 win conditions and put them on top of our deck. We'll see what our opponent does here. I think the wise play would be nothing. There's a Flage. Not going to let that happen yet. Our opponent might be breathing a sigh of relief that we just pitched a Battle of Wits. Let's go get Island Swamp Mountain. What do I need? I think I want to get Breeding Pool. Pay the 2, but I get the 2 back. And I'll go get a basic plains that has a dragon on it. And the reason I subtlety that, 1 is to get it into my graveyard, 2, because I don't want to give him more Flage triggers. I don't want to give him any more than I need to. Oh, this game is going really well. No, wrong card. Ardent Plea is what I want. Blue, white, boom. So now, even if I hit Resurgent Belief, I would still get a creature back. So maybe I should be playing more of the samurai. And now our opponent has their hands full. Unless he's got Energy Wrath. We can use Gifts Ungiven to set up a Scape Shift win later. Because I can use Colossal Sky Turtle, Scape Shift, Bring to Light, and then any fourth card, and I'm guaranteed to get a Scape Shift. Somehow. There's Flage. Flage can only take out Subtlety. So that's what he does. I kind of wonder if I should have put like a Magus of the Moon in my deck just to tutor for it under certain circumstances. That indicates to me he doesn't have Energy Wrath. Another land here would be good. That's a land. Okay. I'm going to Swamp Cycle the Troll. For a Godless Shrine. Play the Godless Shrine. Yes. Moonblessed Cleric. I guess I didn't need to get Godless Shrine there. I could have got a different. Use the ability. Battle of Wits. And our Samurai has Vigilance. We get to show that off for the first time. See how the Street Wraith, it turns sideways, but the Samurai didn't. That's because it has Vigilance. Okay, opponent needs to mill us. There's Arena of Glory. That could be a problem. If he can cast Flage with haste, can he kill me fast enough? I can leave back a blocker. Golly. If he gets back Flage with haste, he gets to attack for 12 plus 2 triggers. No, plus, oh my god, plus 3 triggers. 12, 15. That's 21 damage he's representing. Just out of this Flage over the course of 2 turns. Hopefully he does something else. Oh, he doesn't have enough mana yet. Or he doesn't have enough cards in his... Flage costs 5 other cards. He gets it back, but it doesn't have haste. Okay, he gets the Flage back. And he can take out Moonblessed Cleric. Unless he just wants to go after me. He doesn't have enough white mana. I'm not sure if he tapped his mana correctly or not. I think he tapped it incorrectly. He might have been able to do that. No, he needed to tap a white mana. So he doesn't have enough white mana to get another Flage attack, or another Flage trigger this turn. Well, I spoke too soon. He's going after me, I bet. Yep, targeting me. Eight. I'm going to have 3 blockers, though, next turn. I'm going to take... I have Island, so I'm only going to take 1. I'm going to go get a basic Forest and cast Battle of Wits. using blue mana. And a fun trick here you can do is attack with Samurai, because it has Vigilance, and Exalted. Okay, so he needs to Unearth Flage plus rebuy another one with another Jolted Awake. Why is our time so low? I don't get it. I feel like I played fast. Alright, he couldn't do it. 1-1, which is really like 5-0. This is a 2-land hand that has Living End in it, which means there's a 1-in-3 chance our first Living End just totally fails and gets a Resurgent Belief anyway. So I'm going to, oh my gosh. All right, at least I get to put the Living End back with this hand. Keep, put it back. Done. So we're dependent on our opponent here to put a creature into play right now. This Misty Rainforest Mystical Dispute could be really good if our opponent's playing a blue deck. Does not appear that they're playing a blue deck. If this is Burn, I can't think of a worse matchup. Crouching Pig, don't... Okay, it's not Burn. Looks like Energy. Scion of Draco is an interesting draw. I wish we had any fetch land besides Prismatic Vista. Maybe I have too many Prismatic Vistas. I just kind of like Prismatic Vista, though. I'm going to cycle Street Wraith before I play my next land to see if I can get Scion online on turn 2. If our opponent is like Through the Breach or Underworld Breach and he goes for a blue spell here, we can get it with Mystical Dispute. He has a blue deck. Okay. So he's going to Island Cycle here, probably for a blue-red dual land. Yep, Steam Vents. And he shocks it in. And he preordains. I don't think it's worth preordaining or countering preordain. But something we can do if we draw a Wish is we can wish for Authority of the Consoles, and then we're immune from Splinter Twin. Alright. Should have Street Wraith before that. I'm going to get Raphine's Tower. Yeah, I need to sort out these lands better. I don't think I need 4 Meticulous Archives. Blue-red's not that important. And if we draw another fetch land here, we can most likely play Scion. We didn't draw another fetch land yet. Okay, so I'm just going to dead the Ragged Man. It's the most use I've ever gotten out of that card. We're down to a 1 of dead because I found that it was at its best in a gifts pile to remove creatures. It's also nice having a 1-mana removal spell we can rebuy with Turtle. He dashes it. Kind of wish he hadn't dashed, because now we can't use Demonic Dread on it. And I think I'll counter any blue spell here. So even though he only has 1 land, he's threatening to Deceiver Exarch me. I'm going to Prismatic Vista for a forest. Cast Scion of Draco, leaving Mystical Dispute up. Forest. And now if he goes to Exarch end of turn, like I said, we're protected still. Let's see what he wants to do. He doesn't want to go for it yet. So I can use this Rafine's Tower to Oliphant as well on his turn. He Unholy Heats. Does he have Delirium? Instant land creature sorcery. He has Delirium. That's a little bit unfortunate. He dashes Ragavan. I don't know what to get this guy for Christmas because he already has everything. What is he exiled of ours, by the way? He's exiled Solitude Meticulous Archive. No big loss because we don't have white mana for the Solitude. I mean, I guess we do. Let's see. What does he get? Another Thundering Falls. I'm okay with that. Nothing castable. Not going to Mystical Dispute or Preordain. This is not leaving up Deceiver Exarch mana anyway. I think I'll just go get a Mountain that Surveils. That would be... I already have black. My white and my blue are still attached to each other, so I'm going to get Thundering Falls. Go to my turn. Hopefully we draw something good. That wasn't that good. That's kind of good. I guess I'll put it on top. And what I'll do here is rebuy Prismatic Vista. Unless he goes to cast a Deceiver Exarch, in which case I have to counter it. He's going to hit me down to 8. And unfortunately, he has no incentive to leave a creature in play for this Demonic Dread. Okay, that goes back to his hand. I want to get Prismatic Vista. I could have also gotten back Scion of Draco. Perhaps that would have been the better pick. If I draw a land, that would be a little salty. Instead, I draw another Demonic Dread. Let's go get black. What happened to my Battle of Wits? Oh, he hit it with Ragavan. How derp of me. Okay, Well, sorry, folks. That was a terrible play. So I guess I'll just put out this ley line. What's sad is I could have prevented that too. I could have bounced the Ragavan. I'll just concede the game. That was foolish. Oh, what a fool I was that last game. So this hand is a little derpy, but I'm going to keep. And just need to draw some lands. I've got Generous Ent. Teferi's Subtly Mystical Dispute is actually a pretty... This is basically just a good living end hand that also has Kiki Jiki in it. I'm going to bottom that, graveyard that. I just want lands off the top of my deck. Like Imagine You Thoughtseize this hand. This is just a normal living end hand with Kiki Jiki in it. Bin's Preordain. Land here would be sweet. That wasn't what I wanted. I'm going to go get blue-green, I believe. And try to set up for another land off the top. Yeah, I'll put it there. He could dash Ragavan. I'm aware that that's something that could happen, but I'm defenseless against that anyway. He just regular casts Ragavan. That's really good for us. Play the Archive. Try to put... Well, that's going to hit me. So yeah, if he wants to cast that, it's fine with me. No blocks. I could have drawn that and suspended it. However, it feels like an insignificant card at the moment. He gets the Arc. I'm going to cycle. Another land cycler here would be good. Striped Riverwinder is pretty good too. Breeding Pool is a good one. Okay. So now I can Teferi with Mystical backup. And I will defend this Teferi. It causes him enough problems that I think it's worth it. He could Spell Pierce again. This is at least emptying his hand out of counter spells. Okay, we 2-for-2'd. Not the best. However, we can pitch Subtlety if he ever threatens us too much. I wish I could pitch this Kiki Jiki now. Opponent hits Champion of Wits. He might cast that. If he doesn't have a Force of Negation, he probably should cast that. And that also lets him dig and then either find Splinter Twin or discard unnecessary pieces. But he might just have so much fear for our incredibly scary deck that he wants to. Nope, he casts it. I think that's the right play. He doesn't know it, but we don't have anything good to do in our hand. I don't even have black mana to suspend this. What does he discard? He discards Unholy Heat Ragavan. Air Mace is a pretty good draw. That's our 5th land. If we had one more land, we could go get Teferi. Or any of these 3 mana plays. I don't have it though, so I'm just going to pass. And actually, I think what I'm going to do is just block Ragavan with Subtlety. Hoping to draw out another counterspell. Also, if he has a Splinter Twin for this Champion of Wits, that would be tragically funny. He Mystical Disputes. Alright. No. I'm gonna go get Raucous Theater with this. Well, I shouldn't have done this now. Darn it. I keep forgetting what... Raucous Theater. That was so foolish of me to do this before damage. I'm going to bin that. Whatever he hits, he hits. He hit Wooded Foothills. Alright, in hindsight, that worked out. Land here, I can rebuy Teferi and play it. I don't think that's what I want to do. I think I will use this for the basic planes. The Plains has a dragon on it. And then now, if he casts a blue spell, well, even if he taps out for a Deceiver Exarch here, I can't get it with Mystical Dispute because he has enough mana. Tap out for Deceiver. He didn't do it. Okay. Well, this is going quite poorly. I think what I'm going to do is bounce Champion of Wits to my hand. It saves me some damage, and it gives me something to do next turn. He could bolt it, but then it's still gone. We're getting into the territory where Scapeshift is becoming a potential. Out. I think he just counters this. Most likely. Alright, there's a blocker for Ragavan. And I'm going for it now. Well, actually, Mystical Dispute is irrelevant because he can pay for it. So I think what I have to do is... See, I could leave up Mystical. But 1, 2, 3, even if he has a 4-mana counterspell, he still has way more than enough mana to pay for it. So I'm going to try to just hit a potential combo here. Yep, I'll graveyard that. And then now we Demonic Dread. Shoot, I can't. I forgot that land had to be untapped. Okay. Well, I guess the good news is that there is no good news. So now he's got Deceiver, Exarch, Splinter Twin if he wants to do it. Alright, does he have Splinter Twin? Turns out I should have kept... He taps down the champion. Tapping the champion might indicate that he doesn't have Splinter Twin yet. He would have tapped the land if he was concerned about like a Force of Negation. I don't have double blue anyway. Alright. I'll see if he pays for it. I just want to point out, even if I had played correctly last turn and cast the Demonic Dread, it wouldn't have mattered. Yep, he pays. I'm not going to make him do it. I just want to see Splinter Twin resolve. Alright. He's done it. Alright, round 5. Unfortunately, we don't have any lands, so we have to mulligan. Sorry, round 4. Round 4. That's a great opening hand. I'm going to put back Mystical. And we'll see what Leyline of Anticipation can do. I gotta remember, all my spells have flash now. Opponent's on 5 anyway, so we started even on cards, just also with the Leyline of Anticipation. But this is a deck that can kill in a hurry. So we get Rafine's Tower, Stomping Ground. Another Scion of Draco, alright. I could have led with Commercial District into Rafine's Tower, but that wouldn't let me cast it because it would be tapped. So never mind. Oh, this is Sacred Foundry, so I need to get black, green, blue. I'm not sure if I have that Triome. Let's just force this. All right. Well, actually, this game could get out of hand if our opponent finds stuff to do. I think forcing that is the correct decision. It allows them to fix their hand better. It gets in for more damage. All right. Do I have the Sultai Triome? Let's see if I have it. I forget what it's called. Swamp Forest Island. Yes, I do. Swamp Forest Island. Plains Mountain. I don't know why I said island so weird. Nice. Zagoth Triome. Let's go. And Stomping Ground, or Sacred Pounder, I mean. Watery Grave for good measure. Pay 2. So now we have some flash 12 mana creatures that we can play. I did go down to 3 Scion of Dracos too, because I thought they were a little bit clunky. They're not the best reanimation targets. I can't block this turn. Draw 4 cards, then discard 3 cards at random. It doesn't affect me, so I don't need to cast Dragon yet. Scion of Draco. Yeah, that thing hits for a lot. This card looks like way less threatening than it ends up being, but that menace is a big deal. How you guys like in Modern now? Did you like it before One Ring Ban or after One Ring Ban? I kind of liked it a little bit more before. I'm not a big fan of playing against all these dredge decks. Not dredge, but Faithless Looting. I don't really enjoy that kind of magic. And then on the end step, we cast Scion. But our opponent also has a 4/4 in play. And now he's thinking there's no way we have another one. I'm going to Forest Cycle. Just for an actual straight up forest. Because I want to keep hitting my land drops and I don't want to take damage. And unfortunately I'm on blocking duty, but I can play this thing as a flash blocker. So he might decide to attack with the Flame Blade. Why wouldn't he? And then I think what we do is no matter what, if he attacks with both, we still double block the Flame Blade. That sucks. That's really bad for us. We might lose the game that we cast 2 12 mana cards. I'm just going to trade with Hollow One. I have to. So if I don't win this game, that might be an argument just to remove Scion of Draco from the deck entirely. Because I cast 2 of them with Flash. And if I still lose the game, like, what am I even doing? There's a Root Walla. Okay. Our opponent's out of stuff to do. There's an Endurance. That's a fantastic draw. I'll play this tapped. And pass the turn. His graveyard is Hollow One, Fear of Missing Out, Hollow One. Our graveyard is Scion, Generous Ent. So drawing an Endurance there was even better than drawing a Cascade spell, I think. Because now we can tuck his graveyard. Let's pop it out. Fear of Missing Out. He discards a Goblin Lore. Goblin Lehur. And I at least get a clean block on the Root Walla. He doesn't attack with the Root Walla. Well, there's no need to do it yet. I can't block it anyway. It has Menace. So, cancel. Okay. End step, endurance. Still not blocking. Or I'm still not attacking, I mean. Well, Mystical Dispute is a pretty bad draw, except now we can counter anything, I guess. Yeah, that's a decent draw. It doesn't get us closer to winning, but it gets us a little farther from losing. We will not be doing that. Arguably, it could have improved my hand, but it would give him a huge attack. There's no argument. That was just the right play. And our opponent still kept at bay, mostly by the endurance. Waker is a fantastic draw. And as much as I want to cycle for a card, I don't want to take damage. In a game where our opponent can do nothing, that 2 damage matters a lot. So I'm going to, what colors do I need? I'm going to get a red, blue. I guess I'll get a Commercial District and play it. And if we bin a land, it's like drawing. It's like the same as what Street Wraith would have done. And we bin a land anyway. So confirmation bias. And now with 5 lands, our whole deck is online. Our only bad draw would be like a Traxa. Not sure why our clock is ticking down while we're doing absolutely nothing. I'm just passing priority. I don't have anything, obviously. They draw Street Wraith. And cycle a hollow one. That's not too threatening. That lets them get in for 3. They have 1 card in hand. Faithless Looting. Okay, that's pretty bad for us. They don't get to keep any cards, but they get a big attack now. Yeah, now they just have us because of fear of missing out. Alright, we don't need to see anymore. That menace creature gets to attack twice. Alright. Unfortunately, there's pretty much nothing I can do. I want to take that out, and I'll bring the extra Knight of Autumn in to gain life, I guess. The reason Resurgent Belief is in the deck is because I can tutor for it with what's that card called? Bring to Light. I can just go get it directly, and if I have a Battle of Wits in my graveyard, I can put it in play. Might be ambitious. Great hand. I'll keep. Well, there goes our living in plan, but they are down a card now to do that. And I still have other win conditions. I just want to dig for my other win conditions now. That would include things like Scape Shift, Gifts Ungiven, Bring to Light. Unburial Right's no longer. I have a Knight of Autumn in my deck, I have Besage You, and I have Teferi that can all bounce that. So Gifts Ungiven is a guarantee to at least get rid of the Leyline. That's probably too slow, though. And I'm going to hang on to the Street Wraith as long as possible because I don't want to take 2 damage. There's the Flame Blade. I can't counter it even if I draw Subtlety, so I'll just let it happen. That's a pretty good draw. Play another tap land. I have 5 lands, so I don't need to draw any more lands. This turn, I think I'll use the Riverwinder. I don't think I need to use the Oliphant. That way I can set up... Or I could Oliphant just for a basic mountain. Actually, I think Oliphant for a basic mountain might make more sense in terms of saving life. Flameblade, Adept, Stomping Ground, Faithless Looting, Ox. This is like a dredge deck. And he can cast Hollow One now. Doesn't give it haste. Yeah, I'm going to just basic Mountain Cycle. We take 3. All these lands are not what we needed. Remember, we don't need to endurance before combat. It doesn't matter. I'd rather endurance at end of turn. So I don't think it's worth it to take 2 damage to look for Force of Negation, so I won't. So, like, I'm not going to win this round, but you can imagine what it would be like if I did. Yeah, you can cast it. Always yield. Okay. Clock's just ticking down. Take 8. See, that's why I didn't cast Endurance. He might do something else on the end of turn, even though I don't think he should. He should have done it before combat if he's going to do anything else. Go to 9. And I cast Endurance. So another creature here would be good. Like the Moonblessed thing would be pretty good, I guess. Sky Turtle's not the worst. I'll play the Delta. I'll cycle Riverwinder. Now I think I will cycle Street Wraith. Alright, well, we just drew way too many lands this game. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we binned how many? We binned 2. Like, that's too many lands. Bruh. I'm going to bounce one of these Flame Blades. just with a basic island. I can use Scalding Tarn to fetch out another color at some point. Also, Prismatic Vista can just go get a Plains. Oh man, imagine if I was playing a better deck. I think I had this round easily. Good thing I took out that Resurgent Belief as well. Is he bestowing it? No, he's not. So Endurance can just block this thing. He can't bestow it. He doesn't have enough. He might attack with everybody, which he does. And I'm just going to bounce. Oh, I've got to fetch. I'm going to get the snow-covered island. I want him to know that my deck is nice and snowy. For Christmas. And then we bounce. I'm just going to block a menace thing. And then I'll block the thing that deals the most damage. If I didn't block this, he could pump it to do more damage. So I go to 3. That red split card would be great. Cycling, I think I'll cycle the red. Prismatic Vista is not what I needed. Cycle with blue. Alright, this has to hit a Cascade spell. Yeah, I thought I already did that. Alright, we just have to wait for Magic Online to calculate what card I'm going to draw. There's Teferi. So I guess I'll Teferi. I'm at 2. Get that. Cast Teferi. He has Arena of Glory though, so it doesn't actually matter. There's a Gifts Ungiven, that's way too late. Unfortunately, if he just knows to use Arena of Glory to give that creature haste, he has the win. Also, just any discard spell. Yep, he figured it out. Alright, I don't need to see any more. Round 5. We'll try to get a 2-3 out of this. So a win here would put us to 3-7 overall. I'm going to keep that. That's a reasonable living end hand. And I'm just going to start on the commercial district, I think. Graveyard it. I need creatures in my graveyard. So this Misty Rainforest or the Scalding Tarn need to get untapped blue. But I like getting the tap land out of the way. And I like getting the value. Between these two tap lands, that one puts something in our graveyard. Maybe, shoot, based on what our opponent is doing, it looks like we might have wanted to keep that Endurance. There's a Thought Seize. Okay, so it didn't matter too much anyway, because we're going to lose the Shardless Agent. And is our opponent a Death Shadow deck? There's a Vantasaur. That's not so bad. I can double cycle now. I really like how Vantasar cycles for any color. When this card first came out, I was just playing it in normal living end. But that didn't end up being a very good idea. Burn up, there we go. I'll look for force for this. And I'll continue looking for a force. I'm going to get blue-white. Going to get Hollowed Fountain. Hollowed Fountain, pay the 2. And cycle this because there's a lower chance of me casting this card than there is of me casting Curator. There's a Waker of Waves, not exactly what I needed. Alright, that resolves. Hopefully we avoid hollow ones. He didn't have any creatures in play when he did this, like a Dragon's Rage Channeler or anything, so no additional value. Archon of Cruelty, man, we really should have kept that Endurance, but I didn't have any way to know that. Okay, no Persist. Actually, I don't think he could cast Persist. I'm going to play Misty and then pass. I think I need to get Undercity Sewer if I don't want to cycle Curator. Opponent goes to 12. Casts Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. I'll look for a force for this. On the off chance I find one, it's going to be good. There's a Teferi. Guess I'll take that. I can bounce the Goblin. And I guess Misty will search for a Sewer. I don't think I have a Watery Grave. No, I do. Alright, we'll search for a Watery Grave. Pay 2. I'm a little bit more comfortable paying life now that I have Teferi to bounce the Goblin. There's Ardent Plea. However, Archon of Cruelty would stink to give him back. And there's Demonic Dread. Alright, is my graveyard good enough to just win through that Archon? No, not really. But next turn... Next turn he gets to discard 2 cards. So the Archon would be a 5/5 that would get 2 triggers. So I would go to 11 and 8. And I would have to sacrifice Endurance Shardless Agent. I'm going to play it a little bit slower. I'll let him discard. Ooh, man. Okay. Only we could discard that. Play the tap land. And pass the turn. I didn't emphasize getting more red mana into play because we're not close to a Kiki win. Alright, he puts Creativity and Fatal Push into his yard. So he didn't increase his graveyard with that trigger, which is pretty good for us. He discarded a Creativity, though, which means he either has one or he can't cast the one that he has. Alright, there's a Faithless Looting. Let's hope to dodge more creatures here. I think best case scenario, Thoughtseize Fable, nice. Okay, best case scenario is he goes for Persist here. There's a Ren in 6. I don't care too much about that. Although it is annoying. We might be able to get a win here. We could also just top deck Battle of Wits. That's also eligible. I would allow it. There's a Dwarven Mine. We're going to take out that creature. He bolts to Fairy. Okay, I don't care about that at all. The only thing that stops would be like a Surgical Extraction. Another Cycler would be good here. Okay, that's a really good draw too. Steam Vents. No. That's a really good draw because we can Dread and leave up Force of Negation. So he's going to get an Archon back here. But on his turn, we have Force Negation. And we do get to kind of Fate Seal him here. Target opponent sacrifices a creature, discards a card, and loses 3 life. Alright, sacrifice a creature. Discard a card. I'll discard Kiki Jiki. Whenever I cycle or discard, I get to scry. Don't need that. Now I get to Fate Seal him. Look at the cards. Okay. You can have Looting, then Bitter Ring Union, and then Ren in 6. So he can draw Ren in 6. And then his graveyard goes away. I can just block the Archon and take it out, too. It would only get one of my creatures. If it attacked, I would sacrifice the Architects of Will. And now, if I don't have to use this Force of Negation, I can Living End again. Unless I have hit a 1 in 3 Resurgent Belief. In which case, I'll probably lose the game. But we get a draw step, too. This game looks potentially winnable. Usually when I'm doing stuff like I really care about, I'm not that results-oriented. But I really want to put wins on camera for this deck. Because as far as I know, I'm the only person that's ever done this. And there's a good chance I'm the only person that ever will do this. Because most people don't have access to these cards. You would need I think a really strong subscription, which is pretty expensive. And if you're paying that much for your subscription, card rental service, you probably want to win. You're probably not like me, willing to just burn tickets or burn play points. But, anyone out there, if you think you've got a crazier brew, leave it in the comments and I will sub to your channel. I'm trying to kill time here while our opponent decides what to do. If he attacks, I think I sack Waker, and then Yeah, if he attacks, I sack. He can go get a Dwarven Mine here, so he could get 2 Archons. Shoot, yeah, if he gets 2 Archons, I'm boned. So if he goes for a creativity for 2, then I have to force it. Because then with that Archon attack, okay, he's just returning it. With the Archon attack, he would get rid of all the cards in my hand. Anyway. X equals 2, so we have to force. Alright. We're going to have to win with the battlefield as it is, most likely, unless we draw something really good. If he attacks, I'll double block. I'll block like crazy. He's not going to attack, though, because Reflection of the Mirrorbreaker can start taking over the game. Oh, but I can destroy it with Beseiju, so never mind. It's an enchantment. Let's see what we draw. Solitude's pretty good. Do I have double white? No, of course not. Yeah, I do. Nice. I'm just going to cast Solitude. And start bashing. Attack all creatures at him. Anything I attack Ren with, he'll probably chomp. So I'm just going to ignore Ren. His graveyard's small, so his ultimate doesn't matter right now. And by small, I mean 0 cards. Okay, he leaves Reflection of the Mirrorbreaker alive. And hopefully just scoops. Nice. All right. So what do we want to do? Anything? I think I'll put in a Betrayal for the Resurgent Belief. What happened, buddy? Why is your deck so small? Mine's 299 cards. Alright, this isn't a great opener, but I'm going to keep it. Hopefully we can like Knight of Autumn and take out one of his enchantments. Yep, see. This is a very Christmassy looking hand. And opponent does nothing. Good. That can go to the graveyard. I'll play this in Dantha Triumph next turn. That'll open up for Prismatic Vista Knight of Autumn. I can cycle Glass Dust. I can do nothing. I'll F6. There's Faithless Looting. There's the Boogeyman. There's a card that everybody plays. Like, I get that Faithless Looting people are stoked about their card getting unbanned, but it is really obnoxious. It makes the whole format about graveyards. I feel like. Sky Turtle's a good draw. In the sense that it wasn't Living End. I would even take a Betrayal at this point, because I could suspend it. Opponent bins a Dwarven Mine. That's probably not good. That means they have all the lands that they need. There's a Wren in 6. We'll see if we can force that for subtlety. Nope, we can't. Alright, they have all the lands they could ever need. A little bit unfortunate, but we can at least start chipping away at them now with Knight of Autumn. Another play I realize, would be to leave up Sky Turtle to bounce a Dwarven Mine token. Is that what I want to do? No, I prefer the Knight of Autumn. I will get 8 Plains. So unfortunately, that means that the Samurai doesn't have anything to do now. Cast the Knight. This could be a mistake. There's a chance he just doesn't go for it next turn and he tries to set up for a bigger one, though. Whereas this is guaranteed to at least get something. Because what am I going to do? Nothing next turn, too? It would cost 5 mana to have Knight and Sky Turtle. And so leaving up Sky Turtle commits me to doing this 2 turns in a row. Do nothing 2 turns in a row. Unless I draw something good, which I'm not banking on. I mean, our hand is all lands. You have to draw better than this to win games of Magic. Except if you watch the Merfolk video I played, I won a game where I drew 1 land. There was 1 land in my opening hand, and it's the only land I drew the whole game, and I won. So, maybe I'm wrong. Actually, I'm not going to let him know that I don't have force. I'm going to think about stuff. That at least prevented a land. Okay, good. There's a regular mountain. Gobble of the Mirror-Breaker. So once that finishes up, if I have nothing else to do, I can Knight of Autumn. I can use Sky Turtle to get Knight of Autumn and kill the Reflection. More lands, not what we wanted to see. Wish is a good one. I'm going to top Wish. That will let us get Grafdigger's Cage. Grafdigger's Cage does not stop me, but it does stop creativity, I'm pretty sure. And if I'm wrong, we'll find out together. Maybe I have better things to do. Okay, if I can... I mean, he can creativity the crap out of me this turn. If he chooses to. I'm at his mercy. He could get 3 Archons right now if he chose. If he just goes for 1, like if for some reason he creativity for 1, I could get him with Sky Turtle. He's already discarded. Well, he's drawn a lot of cards. He hasn't discarded a creativity yet. He doesn't do anything. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spin my wheels. I'm going to replay Knight of Autumn. Now I draw the Wish, play Commercial Disc, Fairy Time Reveler. I think that can So next turn I can't wish for a Cascade spell. Graveyard. Okay, I think actually I just have to wish for the Grafdigger's Cage. We'll find out if this works together. We have a game to play with. Hopefully this just gets him. All right, so there's Reflection. I can get that with Knight of Autumn, which he knows about. He can just cast Archon, though. So, I mean, there's almost, like, no combination of 5 cards he could have in his hand that doesn't give him something to do this turn unless they're all lands. And he also has a Faithless Looting in his graveyard. So he can cast every spell in his deck. Opponent does nothing, which is a little bit impressive. We draw more lands, which is also impressive. Bin the bird. Play the knight. Take out Reflection. This looks like we're holding up Force of Negation because we're not doing anything. And I'm just guessing Grafdigger's Cage stops his combo. He might just be on Dwarf Token Beatdown. I still have 2 fetch lands I can use for Surveils. Scapeshift to be a great draw. Another Wish would be a good draw. What else would be a good draw? Bring to Light, any Cascade spell? No, not any Cascade spell because his graveyard is better than ours. Grafdigger's Cage doesn't stop living in because the cards are exiled from the graveyards. Alright, we're going to find out together if this works. Nope, it doesn't work. Okay. Well, I didn't know. I don't think I had anything better to do. Concede game. Alright, Grafdigger's Cage does nothing. I still like Wish for Scapeshift, so I'll leave that in. Submit. Remember not to get Grafdigger's Cage again. Alright, the hand's decent. It's not that good, actually. This is a turn 5 something. Yeah, I'll keep it. It's not very good, though. Like, the most that Shatterstorm's going to do is probably, like, kill 2 treasure tokens. This is basically a Mold of 6 because of Shatterstorm. And if you're wondering why Shatterstorm's in the deck, it's because I've been running into a lot of affinity. And they don't have an answer for this card. So I need to go get a green and black. I have enough blue to suspend IB. Yeah, opponent has Faithless Looting. They get Archon and Leyline into the yard, okay. Go get a green, black. Put Spike Feeder into the graveyard. I don't need that yet. I will cycle the Street Wraith. I'll suspend Search for Tom. I'm so glad I cycled the Street Wraith. And play the tap land. This is for all the marbles. In my opinion, going 2-3 with this deck is like going 5-0 with the normal deck. Opponent thought seizes. That's a little bit bad for us, but at least we can do something next turn no matter what. I mean, I'm assuming he has to take Gifts Ungiven. I'm not sure what else he would take. Inevitable Betrayal is so slow. Unless he's land screwed. If he's land screwed, maybe he takes the Betrayal. Yeah, he takes Betrayal. So maybe his hand is very slow. And he's got another land. I disagree. I think he should have taken Gifts Ungiven if he had more lands. Golly, double. Faithless Looting. So his hand's pretty good. He's discarding lands and lightning bolts. It's been a while since we've drawn a good card. I think it's time we started drawing some. Not really what I wanted. No. All right. Opponent needs to give us some time. And now I'm starting to worry, what would I gifts for? If I gifts next turn, what do I want? Okay, that makes it easy. That makes me just want a Cascade spell, because now there's no creatures in his graveyard. So Cascade spell next turn would be sweet. It wouldn't get back very much, but I mean, be better than nothing. This is nice. I can leave up, discard Sacred Foundry too. Cast. I think I will go get... What color do I need? I got black, green, blue, blue, white, so I need red. And then we draw. Champion of Wits is a good discard too. All right, so I'm trying to think before I have to search what I want to get with Gifts Ungiven. I'm going to discard Champion of Wits. He has Faithless Looting. Okay, so putting a creature in his graveyard is kind of threatening here. Hopefully he can't. Okay, he put Archon in his graveyard. So can I go get... I have to do this. Okay, so let me think about this. I don't want to give him a creature, but I think I have to. I can't think of a way to get this Archon out of his graveyard. What is he doing? Gain hexproof from blue. Okay. So Gifts Ungiven can't resolve. I'm not sure why he had that card in his deck. So Gifts doesn't resolve. At least now I don't have to think about it. And we need to just rip a Cascade spell here. So at least we get to deck thin a little bit. I'm going to get the Plains in case I draw Subtlety or Solitude. They're Shardless Agent. Play the land. There's no reason not to. Green, blue. So unfortunately, he's going to get an Archon of Cruelty back. But we get a Champion of Wits trigger, with which we could draw maybe a Sky Turtle. I'll discard Champion. Use the ability. Well, darn. Wish I should not have. Gosh, that was stupid of me. I should not have played the land. I wasn't thinking about it. What if I drew Bring to Light? Shoot, that was really dumb. That was so dumb. Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, yeah, if I draw a land next turn. No, because he gets an attack anyway, so I was going to discard it. That's why it wasn't that dumb. So I can go up to 7. You gain 2 life. Archon. Or attacks. Gosh, why do they have to give these things enters or attacks ability? Like, now he just doesn't even have to think. This is everybody's fault but mine. All right. Well, hope you guys had fun. Overall, 2 and 8 with Battle of Wits, Stank Living End hybrid. And honestly, that's probably better than I should have done. So thank you for watching. I'll open some chests that I have left over from a previous league. Collection chest. Other products. Chest. Open all. Anything good here? I don't know. Thanks for watching.